John McAfee dead of apparent suicide in Spanish jail after court approves his extradition to the United States on tax charges. Eccentric antivirus company founder John McAfee was found dead of suspected suicide in a jail in Barcelona, Spain. McAfee died shortly after Spain's national court approved his extradition to the United States to face federal criminal tax evasion charges. John McAfee was 75 years of age. His widow is seeking a thorough investigation into John McAfee's death, saying that she spoke to him before his death. They had a positive conversation, no discussion of suicide, and that they had a plan to fight the charges in the United States. Juan Galt, John McAfee, antivirus founder, Bitcoiner, altcoiner, promoted coin of the day, and also threatened to cut off his own dick and eat it if the price of Bitcoin did not rise above 200K by, I want to say, 2020, something like that. A colorful character, star of the documentary Gringo on Netflix. Just interesting right till the end. Juan Galt, your thoughts on John McAfee and his passing?
Well, it's really sad if he's actually dead. Apparently, he faked his death once already, so this would be that would be an incredible stunt to pull it off again in this situation. It sounds like John McAfee did not indeed kill himself. I am a skeptic and a conspiracy theorist all the way on this one. The better the conspiracy theory, the more I like it. I mean, it's sad to see his widow obviously torn up about this. Yeah, I don't know. It's messed up, but I guess if death and taxes are inevitable, maybe sometimes death is preferable.
Josh Segala, giving you the chance to join Juan Galt here. Your thoughts on McAfee's assumed suicide?
Yeah, I mean, the guy said that I'll be if I'm not going to commit suicide. He even tattooed whacked onto his arm and said, this is proof that I'm not I'm happy here. I'm going to fight the charges. And he also mentioned if I get hung, it wasn't me or something like that. So it seems pretty weird, unless it's like the ultimate troll to troll move. But I met John. I got to hang out with him once. I feel pretty privileged. I think he as much love him or hate him for his pump and dumps, whatever. I feel it taught people what scams are. People burnt their hands. People said, "Oh, you can't trust cult of personalities." Aha, okay, got it. I'm not going to do that again. And this is the thing with the Wild West. You have to learn that these things. But the guy was an absolute colorful character, but he was also a champion of freedom. He really was, and he lived this weird lifestyle of like this drug kingpin, but without the drugs and without the kingpinage. Just like, they're coming after me. I've got to have as many guns as possible, and I've got to like constantly be fleeing and worrying and have massive bodyguards. And you're like, dude, you don't run a drug cartel. You know that. Like, you just sort of John McAfee. But interesting guy, and actually really a gentleman in person too. It was really sad when I got that news, man. Like I've been kind of down about it, and I think, live free or die. This is the ultimate motto of the Americans, libertarian types, and if he did top himself because he was getting extradited to the States, which I find is very unlikely, but if he did, then it's definitely live free or die. He lived and died by that. We'll see. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, I never got to meet him, but the closest I got was at the Transylvania conference when my friend Theo Goodman asked him a question. And Theo came in kind of at the last minute, and they shoved a microphone in his face. And they said, "Theo, ask a question to John McAfee." And just right off the top of his head, Theo says, "What's your favorite gun?" And John McAfee loved the question. He had a big response to it. He talked about which kind of situations he'd use the gun in, if it was home defense or close combat. I think he liked a sawed-off shotgun and maybe a Glock, something like that. But he was tickled pink by this question about the gun. He just the kind of guy he was. I think he was on the hideout on a boat in international waters at something at that point already, kind of a fugitive king. But just what a colorful character. Ben Ark, your thoughts on John McAfee?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's very sad, and I think for a lot of us Bitcoiners as well, he's kind of that tragic hero in that his imperfections are going to be his undoing. So it's kind of like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Like he's going to destroy himself, and you're kind of watching that thing happen. And as Josh said, he was such a gentleman and like kind of a nice guy, but then he just had this huge amount of liberty and freedom which he exercised in a way which kind of showing like this is what you can do. If this is the life you want to live, then you don't want to live in a sort of normal life, then you can do what John McAfee did. I think that tragic hero, you have that kind of cathartic thing when Macbeth finally, like it finally happens, like his undoing happens, and you knew it was going to happen. Then it's you have this sort of reflective moment, and because it's kind of almost fated that thing will happen. I do think that he probably did kill himself, that it was live free or die, and for his whole life, since he was on the run, like he was always on the run. Like even as soon as he sold McAfee, he was gone. And he didn't want to pay taxes and moved to a different country where he didn't have to deal with the tax situation. And he was just always, from that point, just running. And from reading a little bit more about his history and his relationship with his father, seemed quite abusive and an alcoholic and things, even though, So I think that probably from a very early age, he was always kind of running away from something. And then, finally he was cornered. His health was probably failing because the guy partied pretty hard. And he just thought, one last ultimate troll, swear to people that I would never hang myself, and then finally just hung himself. I'm looking forward to the film they make of the guy. Super interesting, colorful human being. And he did scam a lot of people with those shitcoin pumps of the day. But in that same respect, I do think that there was some good, decent human qualities deep down, buried beneath all those corrupt outer layers. And I think a lot of us just had a soft spot for the guy. So very sad, and best wishes to his partner Janice. And I hope people can, it's just very sad.
I do agree with Ben. For someone who had so much freedom, he was all around the world. He's been a 100 millionaire for decades now. He lived in foreign countries. He traveled on boats. To be stuck in a cell and to see a possibility of never leaving that cell might have been too much. So all the false bravado he had publicly, even perhaps to his wife or his partner, might not have been there in the private. It does seem a bit questionable how seemingly easy it is to kill yourself in these prison cells. Some kind of noose supply, or I suppose it's just clothing. They usually take your shoelaces. I'm not sure of the situation, but it just does seem, I don't want to go conspiratorial, but it is very strange. As I think Dostoevsky said, the way that you treat your prisoners is a reflection of your society, and it never seems to reflect well upon us, no matter the country.